Paradoxes. Oxford Dictionary defines it as a seemingly absurd or contradictory statement. Contradictory statement or proposition which, when investigated, may prove to be well-founded or true. I feel like that's not really a good definition. They're confusing things. Okay, here are some paradoxes. Paradox 1, the unexpected hanging. Not gonna lie, I used to not like this one because I didn't really understand the build-up, but now I get it. So, I'm gonna try to explain this in a way that isn't super convoluted. There is a prisoner who has been sentenced to death, and for some reason, the judge tells him that it'll happen between Monday and Friday. He won't know when it's gonna happen, it'll be a surprise to him, and he won't know until noon when the executioner comes and knocks on his door. So, this prisoner is trying to piece together when this day might be. He first concludes that it can't be Friday, because if it hasn't happened Monday through Thursday, then Friday's the only day left, and he won't be surprised by then, because he knows it's gonna happen on Friday. So it can't be Friday, so now we're limited to Monday through Thursday. And can't happen on Thursday because the same thing would happen. It's the last possible day. And then he does that with Wednesday and Tuesday and Monday, and eventually he comes to the conclusion, oh, they're not gonna kill me. Like, I'm not gonna be hanged. And on Wednesday, the executioner comes and knocks on his door, and he's surprised. This is one of my personal favorites. I use it all the time, and it really pisses people off. The Sorites paradox. I love this one. First example, 1 grain of sand is not a pile, correct? 2 grains of sand isn't a pile. 3 grains of sand isn't a pile. So at what point does it go from not a pile to a pile? Someone at one point said, well, 100,000 grains of sand is a pile. Fine. But then 99,999 grains of sand isn't a pile? Another example is, look at these 2 colors. Are they different colors? If you do see a difference in them, it's marginal, right? But if you keep making that marginal difference, eventually you'll get to its complementary color. You know, the one on the opposite side of the color wheel. The Barber paradox. This is just kind of a silly one, but it's clever. This is Joe the Barber. He shaves all men and only men who do not shave themselves. So the question is, who shaves Joe? If he shaves himself, then he's broken the rule of only shaving people who don't shave themselves. And if he doesn't, then he has to shave himself because he shaves everyone who does not shave themselves. Paradox! The Grelling Nelson paradox. This one is, I don't know, I like this one. There are 2 important words to know for this one. Autological and heterological. These words only apply to adjectives. So autological means that the adjective describes itself. So polysyllabic is polysyllabic, sesquipedalian is sesquipedalian, arguably short is short, and then an adjective is heterological if it does not describe itself. So like blurry or leafy. Ready to hear these words a lot? Okay. So the word autological is autological because it describes itself. The question is the word heterological autological? Or is it heterological? It's almost like if you say it's opposite day, then that would mean it's not opposite day if it is opposite day, but because you're saying that it is, then it couldn't be. Let's suppose that heterological is not a heterological word, and it is autological. That means that it describes itself. So, heterological is heterological, which makes it heterological. Contradiction! But if the word heterological is heterological, then we've just used the word to describe itself, which makes it autological, which makes it heterological, and the cycle continues. Let's take a moment to talk about our dear friend Galileo and our even dearer friend Infinity. Is there actually an infinite amount of any physical thing? No, because it's not a real number. What? No laws of math apply to infinity. It is bull. Let's take this approach. Square numbers. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, etc. How many square numbers are there? Infinite. They just keep going. So what about the numbers that aren't squares? 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and on and on and on and on. There are an infinite number of those too. So in theory, if you add together the first group of numbers and the second group of numbers, you should get an even bigger group of numbers, right? Wrong. Or right, it doesn't matter, because infinity isn't even real. What's the highest number we know? I feel like I watched a vsauce video about this. We're gonna learn something new today. We probably actually aren't. The largest number that has a commonly known specific name is Googleplex, which is one with Google zeros after it, which I believe that Google is one with 100 zeros after it. What's this notification? Did someone comment on my video? Makes me so happy when people comment on my videos. Comment the word yeet on this video. Just do it. So if you're at a point in your life where you haven't taken a geometry class yet, it is important to know the word contrapositive. So basically, if the statement is if X then Y. The contrapositive would be if not Y then not X. So the most commonly used example for the raven paradox is if it's a raven, it's black, because all ravens are black, right? The contrapositive of that is if it's not black, it's not a raven. Those are both true. See, what is not mentioned is the inverse, right? The converse of that statement is never brought up. No one ever said, if it's black, then it's a raven, because obviously that's not true. So, you see an apple, it's not black, so you know it's not a raven. So the paradox is basically that by stating that an apple is red, you're proving that all ravens are black. Ooh, the ship of Theseus. Let's run through this one as quickly as we can because I've been talking for like half an hour now. Right as I said that, it was like, movie recording has been stopped automatically. Thanks. So, let's say that there's this boat and it is traveling around the world. So as it's going around the world, parts are falling off, parts are breaking, so they're being replaced, and crew members are getting off the ship and new people are getting on. So by the time it comes back to its original destination, all of the parts have been replaced and all of the crew members have been replaced. Is it still the same ship? If not, when did it stop being that ship? When I initially heard this, I was like, well, when the last piece or the last crew member was replaced. But that's to say that if you were to take a slab of wood from the ship of Theseus and put it on another ship, that ship is now the ship of Theseus. Have a fantastic rest of your week. I'm so stressed. Okay. Peace out, Girl Scout. Okay.